More and more, I'm hearing that K-pop is becoming more westernized. One of the reasons why I think people are saying that is because they see what companies are doing now. You take JYP and Hybe / Big Hit, for example. Let's start with Hybe. Hybe, they're the ones that really started this wave with BTS. BTS was originally just like a K-pop / hip hop group that wasn't that popular in the West, except that they had more of a Western style to them in terms of hip hop and how hip hop style was the main sound of the group, which is what attracted a lot of Western audiences to listening to them, including myself in the first place. Not to mention that their songs had a depth and a meanings to them that transcended what normal K-pop songs were about. Those songs impacted a lot of young people and helped them to mature and be a little bit more cognitive of their parents, working hard to make a living and feed and protect them and doing all these things that parents do for their kids, which is what one of my favorite BTS songs, Spinebreaker, talks about. Those songs basically helped raise a generation into maturity. So that was really appealing to Western audiences, definitely. But even at that time, BTS was not really that popular or well known in the West until I'd say the Wings album, Blood, Sweat and Tears, and maybe even before then, the Most Beautiful Moment in Life album that came out, which really started it all. But Wings definitely set them on the map. You'll Never Walk Alone. Then you get to further albums down the road since those two albums, and you'll see that Western audiences are really going hard for BTS. And it gets to a point where eventually BTS starts really catering to the West, since they see the market is opening now, even more so towards the Western audience. Then from there, you see collaborations with Western artists, them getting nominated and winning awards in the West, and thus the beginning of the Western Wars, you could say, the K-pop Western Wars, right? Now, before I get to JYP, let me go and give an honorable mention to another company that was trying to branch off into the West by taking idols from different groups and combining them into one group, that being Super M, which some people would argue was not catered to the West, but it was. Super M was formed by SM Entertainment and Capitol Music Group. Capitol Music Group is a subsidiary of Universal Music Group and is headquartered in the world-famous Capitol Tower in Hollywood, California. And they got together with Lee Soo-man and said, hey, let's make a Korean supergroup that caters to the West, which SM was definitely very much on board with. And thus, Super M was born in 2019. And as you all know, it consisted of Taemin from SHINee, it consisted of Baekhyun and Kai from EXO, it consisted of Taehyun and Mark from NCT 127, and Ten and Lucas from WayV. And those idols formed the group Super M. Now, a lot of people will argue that Super M did not cater to the West, but it actually did. It did. Okay? That's actually a fact. It's a fact. However, it didn't do as well. And I don't know if I even made a video talking about this, but if not, I'm definitely going to, as to why I believe Super M did not do well in the West, as opposed to BTS and like even TXT. TXT is doing pretty well in the West. Monsta X is doing way better in the West than it is in Korea. Like, it's actually more popular in the West than Korea. Korea doesn't really listen to Monsta X like that. Then you go down the road to JYP, who put together a girl group last year called Vicha, which consists of girls from America who are literally in K-pop now. This is not Kachi. This is not anything like that. This is literally a JYP group comprised of American girls. Now, there are different ethnicities within this group. They're not all one race or another. So there is that diversity factor, which is really interesting, and it really does make this girl group stand out in particular from other girl groups in K-pop. That's if you don't count Black Swan, who did it first. This group was formed to appeal to the West. Does this mean, though, that K-pop is eventually trying to branch off into the West and become something more like a hybrid form of K-pop? My answer is no. Yes and no. Honestly, this is probably very, very different from a lot of people's viewpoints about this topic, but I honestly believe there is going to be two forms of K-pop. There's going to be a hybrid form of K-pop, which is like Korean singing in English like BTS has been doing. And there's going to be traditional K-pop as we have all known and grown to love over the years. I don't think it's going to change. I think that HYBE is going to embrace both aspects of K-pop, one that caters to South Korea, one that caters to the West. I don't think that one is going to overshadow the other or one is going to overpower the other. Ultimately, I believe in the end, K-pop will still be K-pop, period. There's no way you can change that. K-pop being what it is why so many people like myself have become interested in K-pop. It's because of what it is now. What it is now and what it always was. You've got, like I said, groups like BTS, groups like Monsta X that kind of branched off a little bit into the West. Super M, which branched off into the West, didn't do very well. Even appearing on different shows and stuff like Ellen DeGeneres, when Ellen DeGeneres was a thing back then, it still didn't do everything it was supposed to do. So with that said, I don't see that it's going to be as big as what people think. Now, going back to HYBE, and I'm not talking about Big Hit, but like HYBE labels. HYBE labels has been putting together various different kinds of groups. There's girl groups, guy groups. All of this is falling under HYBE labels. I have not really been keeping up with everything because HYBE's got so much going on nowadays that it's like hard to keep up, but they have a lot of different groups and a lot of them are catering to the West. That is what HYBE is doing. HYBE is basically a westernized version of K-pop. And that's like in the simplest way I can put it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't really see how it's a bad thing. I don't see it as a bad thing. I think a lot of people see this as like, oh, this is going to be the death of K-pop and this is going to be the end of classic K-pop that we've all come to know and love. I doubt it. You know, I used to actually have that thought process that, oh my gosh, K-pop's going to evolve and it's no longer going to be recognizable in like 10 years. It's going to become neo K-pop, like Western K-pop. And even if it does become that, I don't think it's going to be as extreme as what we think it is. It's funny because there are those in the West who have been arguing constantly that we should have K-pop here too. You know, if K-pop has been influenced and inspired by Western music, as far as other cultures, like there's K-pop that's inspired by Latin American kind of music, you know, things like that, then we should have K-pop here. But then when it comes, we kind of turn our nose at it and be like, you know, like Kachi. I think there's a different reason though for why Kachi has had so many noses turned up at them as opposed to a group like, say, Icha. I think the main thing for me was the production of the songs and how they weren't mastered and mixed very well. I think the second title track they ever came out with, I think it was the second one, sounded a lot better. And the song itself sounded way better, but still it was not under one of the big three. Or even under a K-pop entertainment company just in general. And people mistook them for being caricatures of K-pop idols or whatever. But in truth, all they wanted to do was create good music and share their love of K-pop with others through singing and dancing and music videos and all that other stuff. So it's not like they had terrible intentions or anything. They were genuinely trying to give us something new and fresh and different. Another reason why even Korean netizens turned their nose up at Kachi is because they did not go through the trainee process. They just kind of came out, debuted, and you could kind of see there was really no training involved in what they did. But they did pave the way. I will say that Kachi paved the way. Much like Chad Future, who also people didn't like and probably still don't like to this day. But these kind of people paved the way for what we see now. By crossing over from the American sphere to Korea and doing K-pop as Americans with no training or no prior, knowledge except for their love for the genre and the culture of Korea and all that other stuff. And that's why we have what we have with Chad Future, who just came back, I think last year, which is funny because I said he was going to come back and then he came back. Then we have, Kachi, and I think the difference between Kachi and Vicha is almost night and day, because even though they came from America, both of them, I think the biggest thing is that JYP is in charge of this. So they're going to get the best production possible, but their latest songs, I will admit, are not that great, except for maybe the first song that I heard. I think it's the first song. By the way, I have some thoughts about Vicha and mainly A2K. I do. I have some thoughts, but that will have to wait for another time. But I do have thoughts. I have thoughts. I've had thoughts since last year. I've had thoughts. We're going to talk about that later. I guess at the end of the day, I don't see this as a big problem. I see this as there's a market out there. JYP realizes there's a market for this. There is a market. And I think the market will get bigger and bigger and bigger. The demand for K-pop in the West is becoming more prevalent as time passes. And everyone is now kind of grasping at straws, trying to figure out which group is going to become the next big BTS group. I feel like that's a bit too soon of an assumption as to who's going to be the next BTS. I don't think that's going to be an issue for quite a while. BTS will come back in 2025, blow it out the water, and there will not be another group like them. There are some who also argue that BTS is overrated, and they did the exact same thing every other group did to get to where they are, except they just became famous in the West all of a sudden because of whatever. And I could argue that there are groups that work as hard as BTS does, but I think that would be a video in and of itself, because I'm not entirely sure how BTS got to where they are in the West. The popularity in the West has been overwhelming. I'm not sure, but we can all speculate and try to figure that out. I could make a video trying to figure that out, and I'll still never get that quite right. But in the end, I still believe that K-pop will be fine. Okay, that's the gist of what I'm trying to say. K-pop will be fine. There is no Western K-pop outshining traditional K-pop, or Western K-pop becoming the new K-pop. I don't think it will ever replace what K-pop was. Because let's be honest, not every K-pop group is appealing to the West. There are a lot of K-pop groups out there that Western audiences still don't know about. That's why in my reaction videos, I try to highlight groups that people may not have seen. And they're not popular in either Korea or the West. And so I think a lot of these groups get overshadowed by the groups that are already so well known. You got Wavy, NCT, BTS, obviously. You've got the girl groups. You got New Jeans, which is new. There's very different nuances. Like I said, this video will be long as crap if I were to go over every single nuance to K-pop. New Jeans brings a whole new sound to K-pop that was never really done before. Some argue it's not even K-pop. I think it's a hybrid form of K-pop, to be honest, but that's just me. And I've also heard that the person who's been writing the songs for New Jeans had no prior knowledge of K-pop, and that's what the company wanted. That's what they wanted. They wanted someone who is not familiar with K-pop so that they could give a new sound to New Jeans. I think that's splendid. That's very swell of them to do that. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that K-pop as it was is going to be replaced with this new wave of westernized K-pop? Is every group gonna transition to K-pop, Western style K-pop? I doubt it, guys. I really do. It's very interesting. I think I'm gonna talk about this even more in other videos, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more content from your boy. Until next time, it'll be your boy Aves. And y'all bear with me as I try to get this camera to do what I need it to do. Until the camera situation is resolved, best believe I will be putting out K-tubing topics. Maybe it's a sign from God. I don't know. Maybe it's a sign from God telling me to immerse myself within the world of K-tube even more. Maybe. And if so, I shall heed the instructions of my God. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more content from your boy. And until next time, it'll be your boy Abe signing out. Peace. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.